Imagine a morning where there are no borders on the map, no dividing lines between nations, no immigration counters, no rejected visas, no passport stamped with permission or denial. The word foreigner no longer exists. The earth is no longer divided. It has become one vast home. One world. One country. One humanity. If the world truly became one world, one country, human civilization would step into a completely new chapter. This would not just be a political transformation. It would be a revolution of human consciousness. The first and greatest gift would be peace. Today, nations spend trillions of dollars on military power, missiles, nuclear weapons, warships, fighter jets, all built from fear and mistrust. Borders are guarded. Armies are trained. Conflicts simmer beneath diplomatic smiles. But in a world that is one country, who would be the enemy? Border disputes would vanish. Territorial wars would end. The concept of us versus them would slowly dissolve. Imagine if even half of the global military budget were redirected toward education, healthcare, and scientific research. Every child in remote villages would have access to quality schooling. Every hospital would be equipped with modern technology. Scientists would focus not on destruction but on curing diseases and extending life. Factories that once produced weapons would manufacture medical equipment. Engineers who designed missiles would design renewable energy systems. The energy of fear would transform into the energy of creation. That is the first great blessing, lasting global peace. Now imagine the economic transformation. A single global currency. No exchange rates fluctuating. No trade barriers. No tariffs or customs duties. Goods would move freely across continents. A farmer in Africa could sell organic coffee directly to customers in Asia or Europe without bureaucratic complications. A tech innovator in South America could launch products worldwide without financial restrictions. Resources such as oil, fresh water, minerals, and forests would no longer belong to individual nations. They would belong to humanity. Managed responsibly, these shared resources could reduce global inequality. Hunger could become history. Food surplus in one region could easily supply areas facing shortages. Advanced logistics systems and AI-driven distribution networks could ensure that no child goes to bed hungry. Healthcare would transform dramatically. When a pandemic emerges, the response would be immediate and unified. No competition for vaccines. No political delays. Research findings would be shared openly. Life-saving medicine would not be restricted by national contracts. During crises like COVID-19, equitable vaccine distribution could have saved millions more lives if the world had acted as one. Education would become universal and borderless. A child in Nepal could attend online classes taught by professors in Canada, Japan, or Brazil. A global curriculum could teach shared human history alongside local traditions. Students would grow up identifying first as human beings, then as members of local cultures. Cultural exchange would flourish. Korean music would naturally blend with African rhythms. Nepalese folk traditions would be celebrated in South America. Diversity would not disappear, it would expand and enrich the global identity. In science and technology, collaboration would accelerate progress. Space exploration would no longer be a competition between rival nations but a shared human mission. Establishing settlements on the Moon or Mars would represent humanity's achievement, not national pride. Breakthroughs in cancer treatment, renewable energy, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology would be openly shared. Knowledge would not be locked behind borders or patents designed purely for profit. Humanity would advance together. The environment might experience the greatest positive transformation. Today, countries argue over responsibility for climate change. In a unified world, there would be one clear global environmental policy. Carbon emissions would be regulated collectively. Forests like the Amazon would be treated as global treasures. Oceans would be protected as shared heritage. Massive global investment in renewable energy, solar, wind, tidal, could dramatically reduce dependence on fossil fuels. The planet could finally begin to heal. Travel would become effortless. People could live, work, and study anywhere. Families separated by immigration policies would reunite permanently. Migration would no longer be an escape, it would be a natural movement within one homeland. Human rights would become truly universal. A child born in any part of the world would have equal legal protection and opportunity. Gender equality, freedom of expression, and basic dignity would be upheld under one global standard. In such a world, humanity would finally function as a single family. But every beautiful dream carries shadows. One world, one country, sounds inspiring. Yet the implementation would be enormously complex. The first major challenge would be governance. How do you fairly represent billions of people in one political system? What language becomes official? How are laws created that respect every culture? If power becomes too centralized, there is a serious risk of global authoritarianism. A single corrupt leadership could affect the entire planet. Cultural identity would be another sensitive issue. People feel deeply connected to their flags, languages, and histories. Would smaller cultures be overshadowed by dominant global trends? Would unique traditions slowly fade away? Protecting diversity while promoting unity would require extraordinary care. Economic balance would also present difficulties. Wealthier regions might resist redistributing resources. Job markets could become highly competitive. Migration patterns might overwhelm certain cities. Infrastructure would need massive planning and investment. Security threats would not disappear completely. While wars between nations might end, internal conflicts, cybercrime, and technological misuse could increase. A global surveillance system could raise concerns about privacy and freedom. Religious and ideological differences would remain. Humanity has diverse beliefs and philosophies. Creating a unified legal framework that respects all while maintaining order would require constant dialogue and tolerance. The greatest challenge, however, would not be political or economic, it would be psychological. For centuries, humanity has identified itself through nationality. Patriotism shapes identity. Borders are not only lines on maps, they exist in minds and hearts. To truly become one world, humanity would need to evolve emotionally. People would need to see themselves first as humans rather than as citizens of separate nations. That transformation is far more difficult than changing political systems. In the end, one world, one country, is not merely a structural change. It is a transformation of awareness. If humanity is ready, truly ready, it could be possible. But if we cling to division, ego, and fear, it will remain only a dream. And perhaps the deepest truth is this: if we are born into this world, then every human being has the right to see it, to explore it, and to experience it fully. Maybe the journey does not begin by removing borders from maps. It begins by removing borders from our minds. The day we learn to say, we, instead of me, that is the day the world truly becomes one country. And perhaps, on that day, humanity will finally see its most beautiful reflection.